This queen is feasting on the hard-to-swallow heart of a sea monster. She sacrifices the king who has been with her for years for the sake of the child. In a kingdom, there is a king who loves the queen very much. Whatever the queen wants, the king will satisfy her. But there is only one thing that has always made the queen sullen and depressed. The queen has always wanted a child, but how can not be pregnant? Late one night, a black-robed mage came to the palace. He told the king and queen, just kill the beast at the bottom of the sea, take out the heart, cooked by a young girl untouched, the queen, and eating this heart, you can get pregnant. The next day, the king for the queen put on a diving suit. According to the black-robed mage said, dive into the bottom of the sea, and found the sleeping sea monster. The king looked at the sleeping sea monster. A sword stabbed into the sea monster's vitals. The sea monster should fall to the ground, but in the sea monster's painful struggle, the king was also seriously injured. In this way, the king brought the sea monster back. The guards took out the heart of the sea monster. The king touched the heart of the sea monster with life, closed his eyes. According to the method of the black-robed mage, she found an untouched palace maid and ordered her to cook it. While cooking, probably because of the smell of the sea monster heart, the palace maid's stomach grew larger at a rate visible to the naked eye. After cooking, it was served to the queen's table. Although the sea monster heart was hard to swallow, the queen ate all the sea monster heart in order to give birth to her son. That night, the queen gave birth to a prince. She finally got what she wanted, revealing a smile of satisfaction. At the same time, the court lady who cooked the heart of the sea monster during the day also gave birth to a baby boy at the same time, Jonah. In the blink of an eye, 16 years have passed. Because there is a prince, the 16 years of the queen every day to live are very happy. The queen doted on the prince, just as the king doted on the queen, willing to give everything. But the queen gave love to the prince, but the prince felt no freedom, cannot breathe. Probably because, also blamed the heart of the same source of relationship, Jonah and the prince, although born of a different mother, but the two look identical. Although the prince and Jonah's status is different, but became the best of friends. The prince only had a sense of belonging and felt close to Jonah when he was with him. But the queen, because of the prince's status, forbade him to be with the servant's child. Although the prince had a lot of reluctance in his heart, he could only meet with Jonah in private. But it didn't last long. When the two played a game of identity swap, the queen mistook Jonah for the prince and asked Jonah to put on the earrings for the queen. Back inside the house, Jonah excitedly told the prince that the queen did not recognize Jonah at all. The prince was so happy to hear this that even the queen could not tell them apart. When he became an adult and inherited the throne, the two of them could take turns to be the king. Although the children's words were uninhibited, all this was heard by the queen, who was hiding in the shadows. In a fit of anger, the queen expelled Jonah's family from the kingdom. Before leaving, Jonah dug a spring under a tree and told the prince that if the spring was cloudy, it meant he was in danger, and if it dried up, it meant his life had come to an end. After Jonah took it, the prince looked at the spring day by day. One day soon after, the spring suddenly became blood-colored and cloudy. He knew something was wrong, and the prince rushed to Jonah's residence on horseback in the night. Learning that the prince had run away from the palace, the worried queen sent a large number of people to look for the prince, but ultimately to no avail. After searching in vain, the queen, who loved her son, once again found the black-robed mage and wanted the mage to help her find the prince. The mage told the queen, every thirst, every gain, will be accompanied by loss, pay the price. The queen, who loved her son so much that she didn't even think about it, saved and promised the mage that she would give everything to get her son back. On the other hand, Jonah cried out loudly in the cave. It turned out that he accidentally fell into the cave and hurt his leg, unable to escape from the cave. Suddenly a monster with a giant bat body pounced on Jonah, trying to eat him. At this time, the prince arrived in time. In front of the monster attacked Jonah, blocked Jonah. When the monster saw the prince, but suddenly stopped attacking. Just when the monster hesitated, the prince stabbed the monster to death with his sword. Subsequently, the prince escaped from the cave with the wounded Jonah and returned to his residence. But what the prince didn't expect was that the bat monster that just died was the one that the queen had conjured up. It turns out that the mage said, a strong desire can only have an equal price to meet. The queen's strong desire to control the prince, the price is to become a monster, was stabbed to death by the prince. Life and death conservation, gain and loss of equal value. Just like the queen wanted a child, the king fought with the sea monster for the queen and lost his life. In fact, there is never anything quiet years, just someone is carrying the weight for you. The prince kills the queen but does not know the truth. The queen is extremely protective and controlling, the image of a monster in the eyes of the prince. The queen is a metaphor for the extreme control in the story, and tragedy arises because of the imbalance of desire. The movie consists of 3 dark fairy tales in total, and we will continue with the next 2 stories in the next issue.